So when I was talking about what could make Milton rapidly intensify, at 5 a.m. this morning, it was at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Now it's up to 160 miles per hour.
Wow.
So put in that perspective, that means it's grew 60 miles per hour over just a 7-hour period. That is astronomical. That's almost unheard of. Now the record is Patricia. That was a 120 mile per hour increase, and Wilma increased 95 miles per hour across a 24-hour period, and that was back in 2005. Now, if we see some rapid intensification over the next couple of hours, brings us up to about 165, 170, we're going to be very close. So this is a historic storm you're looking at right now, the 42nd Category 5 hurricane. And what's really interesting to note, there are several hurricanes that have had this pinhole eye. A couple that you probably recognize the names: Andrew, Wilma, Maria. All these have this rapid pinhole eye, and I know that I was shown this earlier, that the tighter that these are, just like a figure skater, the faster that they can turn. And that's exactly why we've seen such a rapid increase for this, that literally yesterday at 11 a.m. it was a tropical storm. Now it's up to Category 5 strength. And the good news is it is going to start to weaken as it draws a little bit closer to Florida, but still it's already made the history book. So you can see that rapid increase from noon yesterday. It was at 80 up to 160, but it was indeed a 90 mile per hour increase for the peak rapid intensification. So here's the track. We're expected to still strengthen a little bit more heading through the afternoon, and it could even reach around 170. And it's still going to be maintaining that Category 5 strength, I would say, for the next, let's call it 24 hours. It is going to scrape by the Yucatan, so there's going to be some impacts there, but the worst of it's going to be offshore. Once we get to about Wednesday morning, I still think that we're talking about a Category 4 once it draws a little bit close to Florida. Right now, the time frame is anywhere from the middle of the evening to the early morning hours that it's going to be making landfall. Now, it's still a wide cone. It could be 100 miles north of Tampa, and it could be as far south as Fort Myers. As this is continuing to change. So don't focus on the center, just focus on the cones of impact, because literally the tropical storm force winds are going to encompass the entire state of Florida. Luckily, it's going to be a quick mover. That's the only silver lining I have for you. And then this will head back out in the Atlantic and just be tropical storm Milton, but the damage will already be done, because we're anticipating a storm surge up to 9 to 12 feet. This potentially could be the worst storm the Tampa Bay area has had in over 100 years. I look back in the history book. This is a very rare path coming from the Western Gulf heading in this direction. The last path that I saw this type of scenario, 1892. So think about that in perspective. Now, since this is going to move back out in the Atlantic, the impacts that we have here in the Carolinas is mainly the surf. So if you go into the beach, you're going to likely see that red flag waving, and they're going to recommend that you don't go in the water. So that's the only near-term effect. Rain-wise, it's only going to be Charleston in the southern parts of South Carolina that could have anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain, but the areas that are actively recovering right now, you won't see a drop. That's the best news I have for you. Upcoming rain chances, null and void over the next 7 days. The best case that you could potentially have. And the mountain forecast, a whole lot of nothing. Temperatures very comfortable in the 60s. This front is actively moving through right now. Now, it could bring a little bit of rain just south of I-85. And this isn't going to be a big rainmaker. Already seeing the impacts here across the mountainous areas. Highs only around 70 degrees, and then 83 for Charlotte. This is going to be the warmest day that we have until next Sunday, by the way. A beautiful day, though. Plenty of sunshine. The good news about this front is relatively dry. We don't have a surplus of moisture, so that's why you only see a little bit of rain potentially from Charlotte down towards the south. I'm going to call it anywhere from about 5 to midnight, and then after that, it's a whole lot of nothing. Check out our lows, though. 56 degrees to 49 to 46 degrees on Friday. So Friday and Saturday morning, waking up in the mid-40s, and our low temperatures for the mountains, I'm using Banner Elk as an example, ranging in the 30s and 40s, even a chance for our first freezing temperature this season on the 16th. Our dew points quickly dropping off as well. Today is technically a little humid. It's going to be that perfectly comfortable fall air, so a true reason to have that pumpkin spice latte, even though, as we always joke, Sarah already did hers in July. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, 83 today, mid-70s for the next couple of days, lower 70s on Thursday and Friday, and then heading through the weekend, temperatures come back up to 80 degrees before they'll fall back through the 70s the following week.